Hi, I'm LilyRose, and today we will be reading Ruth 1 through 4, Chapter 1. There was a time when Israel didn't have kings to rule over them, but they had leaders to help them. This is a story about some things that happened during this time. There wasn't enough food in the land of Judah, so a man went to live for a while in the country of Moab. He was from Bethlehem in Judah. His wife and 2 sons went with him. The man's name was Elimelech. His wife's name was Naomi. The names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were from the tribe of Ephraim. Their home had been in Bethlehem in Judah. They went to live in Moab for a while. Naomi's husband Elimelech died, so she was left with her 2 sons. They married women from Moab. One was named Orpah, the other was named Ruth. Naomi's family lived in Moab for about 10 years. Then Mahlon and Chilion also died. So Naomi was left without her 2 sons and her husband. Naomi had heard that the Lord had helped his people. He had begun to provide food for them again. So Naomi and her 2 daughters-in-law prepared to go with her back to Moab. So Naomi and her 2 daughters-in-law prepared to go from Moab back to her home. She left the place where she had been living. Her daughters-in-law went with her. They started out on the road that would take them back to the land of Judah. Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Both of you, go back. Each of you go back to your mother's home. You are kind to your husbands who have died. You have also been kind to me, so may the Lord be just as kind to you. May the Lord help each of you find rest in another man's house." Then she kissed them goodbye. They both broke down and wept. Loudly they said, "We'll go back to your people with you." But Naomi said, "Go home, my daughters. Why would you want to come with me? Am I going to have any more sons who could become your husbands? Go home, my daughters. I'm too old to have another husband. Suppose I thought there was still hope for me. Suppose I married a man tonight and later I had sons by him. Would you wait until they grew up? Would you stay single until you could marry them? No, my daughters, my life is more bitter than yours. The Lord's power has turned against me." When they heard that, they broke down and wept again. Then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth held on to her. "Look," said Naomi, "your sister-in-law is going back to her people and her gods. Go back with her." But Ruth replied, "Don't try to make me leave you and go back. Where you go, I'll go. Where you stay, I'll stay. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. Where you die, I'll die, and there my body will be buried. I won't even let death separate you from me. And if I do, may the Lord punish me greatly." Naomi realized that Ruth had made up her mind to go with her, so she stopped trying to make her go back. The 2 women continued on their way. At last they arrived in Bethlehem. The whole town was stirred up because of them. The women in the town asked, "Could this possibly be Naomi?" "Do not call me Naomi," she told them. "Call me Mara. The Mighty One has made my life very bitter. I was full when I went away, but the Lord has brought me back empty. So why are you calling me Naomi? The Lord has made me suffer. The Mighty One has brought trouble to me." So Naomi returned from Moab. Ruth, her daughter-in-law from Moab, came with her. They arrived in Bethlehem just as people were beginning to harvest the barley. Chapter 2. Naomi had a relative on her husband's side of the family. The relative's name was Boaz. He was a very important man from the family of Elimelech. Ruth, who was from Moab, spoke to Naomi. Ruth said, "Let me go out to the field. I'll pick up the grain that has been left. I'll do it behind anyone who is pleased with me." Naomi said to her, "My daughter, go ahead." So Ruth went out to a field and began to pick up grain. She worked behind those cutting and gathering the grain. As it turned out, she had been working in the field that belonged to Boaz. He was from the family of Elimelech. Just then Boaz arrived from Bethlehem. He greeted those cutting and gathering the grain. He said, "May the Lord be with you, and may the Lord bless you," they replied. Boaz spoke to the man in charge of his workers. He asked, "Who does that young woman belong to?" The man replied, "She is from Moab. She came back from there with Naomi." The young woman said, "Please let me walk behind the workers. Let me pick up the grain that is left." She came into the field. She has kept on working here from morning until now. She took only one short rest in the shade. So Boaz said to Ruth, "Dear woman, listen to me. Don't pick up any grain from other fields. Don't go anywhere else. Stay here with the woman who worked for me. Keep your eye on the field where the men are cutting grain. Walk behind the women who are gathering it. Pick up the grain that is left. I've told the men not to bother you. When you are thirsty, go and get a drink. Take water from the jar the men have filled." Then when Ruth heard that, she bowed down with her face to the ground. She asked, "Why are you being so kind to me? In fact, why are you even noticing me? I'm from another country." Boaz replied, "I've been told all about you. I've heard about everything you've done for your mother-in-law since your husband died. I know that you left your father and mother. I know that you left your country. You came with people you didn't know before. May the Lord reward you for what you have done. May the Lord, the God of Israel, bless you richly. You have come to him to find safety under his care." "Sir, I hope you will continue to be kind to me," Ruth said. "You have made me feel safe. You have spoken kindly to me, and I'm not even as important as one of your servants." When it was time to eat, Boaz spoke to Ruth again. "Come here," he said. "Have some bread. Dip it in the wine vinegar." She sat down with the workers. Then Boaz offered her some grain that had been cooked. She ate all she wanted. She even had some left over. Boaz got up to pick more grain. Ruth got up to pick more grain. Then Boaz gave orders to his men. He said, "Let her take some stalks from what the women have tied up. Don't tell her she can't. Even pull out some stalks for her. Leave them for her to pick up. Don't tell her she shouldn't do it." So Ruth picked up grain in the field until evening. Then she separated the barley from the straw. The barley weighed 30 pounds. She carried it back to town. Her mother-in-law saw how much she had gathered. Ruth also brought out the food left over from the lunch Boaz had given her. She gave it to Naomi. Her mother-in-law asked her, "Where did you go to work today? Where did you pick up grain today? May the man who noticed you be blessed." Then Ruth told her all about the man whose field she had worked in. "The name of the man I worked with today is Boaz," she said. "May the Lord bless him," Naomi said to her daughter-in-law. "The Lord is being kind to those who are living and those who are dead." She continued, "The man is a close relative of ours. He is one of our family protectors." Then Boaz, who was from Moab, said, "He told me more. He even said, 'Stay with my workers until they have finished bringing in all my grain.'" Naomi replied to her daughter-in-law Ruth. She said, That would be good for you. My daughter, go with the women who work for him. You might be harmed if you go to someone else's field." So Ruth stayed close to the woman who worked for Boaz as she picked up grain. She worked until the time when all the barley and wheat had been harvested, and she lived with her mother-in-law. Chapter 3. One day Ruth's mother-in-law, Naomi, spoke to her. She said, "My daughter, I must find a home for you. It should be a place where you will be provided for. You have been working with the men who work for Boaz. He is a relative of ours. Tonight he will be separating the straw from his barley on the threshing floor. So wash yourself, put on some perfume, and put on your best clothes. Then go down to the threshing floor. Do not let Boaz know that you are there. Wait until he is finished eating and drinking. Notice where he lies down. Then go and uncover his feet. Lie down there. He'll tell you what to do. I will do everything you say." Ruth answered. So she went down to the threshing floor. She did everything her mother-in-law had told her to do. When Boaz had finished eating and drinking, he was in a good mood. He went over to lie down at the far end of the grain pile. Then Ruth approached quietly. She uncovered his feet and lay down there. In the middle of the night, something surprised Boaz and he woke up. He turned and found a woman lying at his feet. "Who are you?" he asked. "I am Ruth," she said. "You are my family protector. So take care of me by making me your wife." "Dear woman, may the Lord bless you," he replied. "You are showing even more kindness now than you did earlier. You didn't run after younger men, whether they were rich or poor. Dear woman, don't be afraid. I'll do everything you ask. All the people of my town know that you are an excellent woman. It's true that I'm a relative of yours, but there is a family protector who is more closely related to you than I am. So stay here for the night. In the morning, if he wants to help you, good. Let him help you. But if he doesn't want to help you, then I'll do it. You can be sure that the Lord lives. And you can be just as sure that I'll help you. Lie down here until morning." So she stayed at his feet until morning. But she got up before anyone could be recognized. Boaz thought, "No one must know that a woman came to the threshing floor." He said to Ruth, "Bring me the coat you have around you. Hold it out." So she did. He poured more than 50 pounds of barley into it and helped her pick it up. Then he went back to town. Ruth came to her mother-in-law, but Naomi asked, "How did it go, my daughter?" Then Ruth told her everything Boaz had done for her. She said, He gave me all this barley," he said. "Don't go back to your mother-in-law with your hands empty." Naomi said, "My daughter, sit down until you find out what happens next. The man won't rest until he settles the whole matter tomorrow." Chapter 4. Boaz went up to the town gate and sat down there. Right then the family protector he had talked about came by. Then Boaz said, "Come over, my friend, sit down." So the man went over and sat down. Boaz brought 10 of the elders of the town together. He said, "Sit down here." So they did. Then he spoke to the family protector. He said, "Naomi has come back from Moab. She's selling the piece of land that belonged to our relative Elimelech. I thought I should bring the matter to your attention. I suggest that you buy the land. Buy it while those sitting here and the elders of my people are looking on as witnesses. If you are willing to buy it back, do it. But if you want, tell me. Then I'll know. No one has the right to buy it except you, and I'm next in line." "I'll buy it," he said. Then Boaz said, "When you buy the property from Naomi, you must also marry Ruth. She is from Moab and is dead man's widow. So if you must marry her, that's because his property must continue to belong to his family." When the family protector heard that, he said, "Then I can't buy the land. If I did, I might put my own property in danger, so I can't buy it. So you buy it. I can't do it." In early times in Israel, there was a certain practice. It was used when family land was brought back and changed owners. The practice made the sale final. One person would take off his sandal and give it to the other. That was how people in Israel showed that a business matter had been settled. So the family protector said to Boaz, "Buy it yourself," and he took off his sandal. Then Boaz said to the elders and all the people, "Today you are witnesses. You have seen that I have bought the land from Naomi. I have bought all the property that had belonged to Elimelech, Kelon, and Mahlon. I have also taken Ruth, who is from Moab, to become my wife. She is Mahlon's widow. I have decided to marry her so that the dead man's name will stay in with his property. Now his name won't disappear from his family line or from his hometown. Today you are witnesses." Then the elders and all the people at the gate said, "We are witnesses. The woman is coming into your home. May the Lord make her like Rachel and Leah, Together they built up the family of Israel. May you be an important person in Ephraim. May you be famous in Bethlehem. The Lord will give you children through this young woman. May your family be like the family of Perez. He was the son Tamar had by Judah. So Boaz married Ruth, then he slept with her. The Lord blessed her so that she could have a child, and she had a son. The women said to Naomi, "We praise the Lord. Together he has provided a family protector for you. May this child become famous all over Israel. He will make your life new again. He'll take care of you when you are old. He's the son of your very own daughter-in-law. She loves you. She is better to you than 7 sons." Then Naomi took the child in her arms and took care of him. The women living there said, "Naomi has a son." They named him Obed. He was the father of Jesse, and Jesse was the father of David. Here's the family line of Perez. Perez was the father of Hezron. Hezron was the father of Ram. Ram was the father of Aminadab. Aminadab was the father of Nahshon. Nahshon was the father of Salmon. Salmon was the father of Boaz. Boaz was the father of Obed. Obed was the father of Jesse, and Jesse was the father of David.
Hello, my friend, and welcome to Fear into Faith Global Bible Revival, where we're on a mission to get 1 million people to read the Word of God cover to cover in a year and change the world. I'm your host, Summer Day, and today might be a crazy and wild interview. I'm pretty nervous right now because with me in the studio are my children. Yes, that's right. I have my 3 girls here. We have a LilyRose, LilyRose, and Elowen. Hello, and Elowen Rose. Hi, girls.
Hi.
Are you excited to be here?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to start with you. Tell us your name and how old you are.
I'm Alora, and I just turned 15.
All right, awesome. And what's your name?
I'm Ella, and I just turned 7.
You're Ella, also known as Elowen. You just turned 7. And you are?
Hi, I'm LilyRose, and I just turned 11.
Woohoo! So we have 11, 15, and 7. Are you guys excited to do this interview?
Yeah.
Is anyone nervous?
No.
No. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about this Bible project that we've been working on that you guys actually wanted to be a part of. First of all, Ella, why did you want to be a part of this show?
To change people's lives.
To change people's lives? Tell me more about that.
Well, I kind of most of my life known God since I was 4 to my age 7. I've loved God since I was 4.
Since you were 4, and you want other people to love God?
Yeah. I've got a lot of people telling me I'll be a prophetic speaker, a prophetic singer.
And you just want that for other people?
Yeah.
I love that answer. LilyRose, why did you want to be a part of this project?
Because I really like reading the Bible, and something funny is that you sometimes catch me at 3 a.m. in the morning reading the Bible.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So originally, I was not planning on having you guys on the show. But first of all, the Lord spoke to me actually about you, LilyRose. And the Lord said that he was so proud of you, that you have a heart for the word. And it is true. There's been countless times that I've caught you up 10:30 at night. And I'm the mom seeing the light on in the room. And I go storming in there. And I'm like, why are you still awake? And then I see you in bed and you're reading the Bible. And it's like, how can you be mad at your child if they're staying up late reading the Word of God? And this happened countless times. And because of that, the Lord really spoke to me and he said, I want you to honor her passion and her zest for the Word and let her be a reader on the TV show. So thank you for your heart for the Word. I love that. All right, we're going to come back to that. Actually, let's stay there. What's your favorite book of the Bible?
Ruth.
Ruth is your favorite book?
Wait, no. Genesis.
Genesis. What's another book in the Bible you've read many, many times?
Revelations and
Revelation. Revelation.
Genesis, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles.
You know what? The first time I caught you reading Revelation, I thought, well, that's interesting. And then I caught you again, and I'm like, you're reading it again? And then I thought, why does this little girl repeatedly like to read Revelation? That's a hard book to understand.
I like reading Revelation because one thing is that part of Revelation, it's either 12 verse 1 through 10 or 11 through... Wait, chapter 12 verse 1 through 10 or 11 through 14. It's in Mimi's pageant. One of the main actors says something about God and his angels fighting against Satan and his angels, and it was in Revelation, and I really like it.
And you like that part about Satan and the angels and their fight, and then he casts the devil out of heaven
and into an abyss
and into abyss
for 1,000 years.
For 1,000 years. I love it. I love it. So good. So good. And you know, another thing that I love is you're kind of actually a little scholar of the Bible. You know, it was about a year ago that the Sunday school teacher at church said, Summer, how do you steward your kids' hearts to the word? Because I want my kids to know the word like LilyRose. She is in Sunday school class and she knows more about the Bible than we do. And so sometimes we ask you Bible trivia. Elwin, don't play with your dress. Sometimes we've asked Bible trivia. And I know the other day people at the restaurant were like, do you know who they asked, which character they were asking you from the Bible? Jezebel. And you knew the answer. So who is Jezebel?
Jezebel's the wife of King Ahab, Jezebel was the high priestess of a god named Baal, and she was around the time when she had ordered every single prophet of the Lord to be killed, and multiple of them didn't die.
Wow.
Because there's like Elijah and a few thousand more people or something like that.
I don't know if it was a few thousand.
Yeah, because one of the prophets hid multiple prophets in a cave.
Yeah, okay, but one of the prophets hid multiple prophets in a cave. Amazing. You have a...
And Elijah prophesied against Jezebel, since Jezebel had ordered a man named something, I can't remember, to be killed because he wouldn't give his vineyard to King Ahab. So
yep,
Elijah prophesied against Jezebel. She said, since you have killed this man, King Ahab ordered had this man to be killed, and the dogs have licked up his blood, you shall fall out of a window and your blood shall be licked.
Wow.
By dogs.
Wow.
Yeah.
You remember a lot. I'm impressed. You have a knack to remember the things that you read. So love that about you. Okay. Alora, let's get back to you. What made you say yes to wanting to be in this project?
It's not really me saying yes. It was just I was at first thrown into this, and then I really enjoyed it. It started back when you guys started reading the Bible cover to cover, and then you lost your Bible on the plane, and then I wanted to look for a new Bible at the same time because I didn't really have one at that time, and then I got one for my grandma and things like that, and then I just I guess I got thrown into it, and then I started meeting God a lot more and growing closer to him, and it made me want to be able to do things more. And then I had been asking you and Dad to let me be on the TV show for a while, and today I got to read. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yep. But there were some words that I've never read or said before, and I definitely said them wrong.
Yeah. So cute. I have to mention something about you. I'm really proud of you. Your dad and I were watching you read, and I was getting very choked up because reading has not come as easy for you as other kids. I know in 3rd grade, you got diagnosed with a processing disorder. Your eyes weren't tracking words on a page, and I remember when I saw them give you that diagnosis, it was really hard as a mom. And then you also got diagnosed with kind of extreme dyslexia, and it's been many, many, many years that reading has been quite a struggle. So I was watching you in there, and even though some of the words were hard, you kept moving on, and you kept tracking your place, and that's not something that you were able to do as a reader until really recently. And so I honor you for saying, no, Mom, I can do this. I want to push through the dyslexia. I want to push through everything. And so I pray that your testimony inspires other people that maybe are struggling with reading, that to push through. Because you really warmed my heart. Like, watching you was really neat. What was that like for you?
Well, like, some of it was really challenging. I picked a thing that, like, was slightly easy. And then after the fact, I realized, like, it was really close to the one, the part of Psalms that I wrote a song about.
Oh, yeah. We got to pause right there. We're going to hold that. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back. With my crazy children. Yes, we have Alora, LilyRose, and Elwyn Casciagione here with us in the studio. And we were talking with you, Alora, and I was getting a little weepy as your mom about watching you push through your dyslexia and other reading challenges that you've had in your life and choosing to be a reader on this show, and how I just hope that inspires not just kids your age, but also adults. Like, super proud of you. And you were saying what it was like, how you were reading a section. And what happened?
I realized that it was like really close to a part of Psalms that I wrote a song about, and it was about God's steadfast love, and it was, I think, the second song I wrote, but I think it's my favorite song because the first one I didn't really understand, and I didn't like take notes of it really well. And the second one, I recorded it immediately after, or I recorded the rough draft after I heard it from the Lord.
Yeah. So this is something that we've had happen many, many times. I've had people say, how did you know to pick that scripture for me? How did you know to pick that verse for me? Oh my gosh, that's my life verse I have on my wall. And I'm just telling people, I'm just picking what we need to get recorded next on the show and kind of where we're at. And so I had no idea that you were going to end up with the section that talked about steadfast love, which is what your song was. So I love that God was just giving you a little wink and all that kind of stuff. What do you guys think? Let's just ask Ella. What do you think about this project to get 1 million people to read the Bible? Why is that important?
Because it will change people's lives. And basically, it will just change your life. When you have any pain, it'll just change your life, heal you. I've actually prayed over people, and they've been healed.
You have.
Even at Zoom.
We could talk about that. Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. You want to talk about that?
Yeah.
So recently, we did an event, and we had somebody who was there praying over people. And
you can check out the rest of this interview right here, or by going to BibleRevival.tv. And if this show has blessed you, you can help us bless others by partnering with us for as little as $20 a month and help us to expand the reach of this show. We'd also like to invite you to join our Kingdom Discipleship Program, where you have an opportunity to get on weekly Bible Zoom calls with us and people around the world to deep dive into His Word. And you can check all that out at BibleRevival.tv. I'll see you next time, my friend.